always enjoy a good walk in the wild side, and the recent bitter cold temperatures with bright winter days have been perfect for walking. Much more enjoyable than sitting freezing in a small boat in a loch. And walking, as well as keeping me warm, also keeps me fit for my boating adventures. The sub-zero temperatures also make it a perfect time to roam the Rannoch Moor, which can be a very wet and boggy experience under normal conditions. However, the moors are now frozen solid, making walking much easier. I parked the car in the big lay-by on the A82, where it crosses a moor at Loch Ba, then took the path heading west into the heart of the moor until it meets the West Highland Way, which is possibly Scotland's best-known long walking trail. I then headed south to the Ba Bridge, where I again headed west along the banks of the River Ba, before turning back the way I came, a total distance of around 7 miles and some very remote scenery. I had the moor to myself that day as I never saw a single person. The Rannoch Moor is one of the last true remaining wildernesses in Europe, a vast area composed of blanket bog, lochans, rivers and rocky outcrops, all of which make it a very challenging environment, especially in bitter cold winter days. A home to birds like grouse and curlew, and animals like deer and fox. The main A82 road cuts straight across the moor, giving stunning views across this vast area. But it's not until you start walking through it that you discover its true beauty and remoteness. I was travelling light with only my compact camera, flask of hot coffee and a small rucksack, which also kept waterproofs, compass and a few other odds and ends. Of course, I also had the drone and took it for its walk. The arrow shows where I left the car on the A82 road, and then it shows part of the path I took across the moor. From the air, I can see it has been built up for a road, which is long gone, and when walking, it just looks like a narrow and very boggy path, which is the reason why I only attempt this walk during winter conditions. The boggy bits are frozen solid, which saves getting wet feet, although I do have to take care not to slip on the icy surfaces. I also found out many years ago that it's not worth leaving any recognised paths, because the going underfoot becomes very difficult due to undulating ground and thick tufts of grass. It's also possible to get stuck in deep bog, which can even suck a whole deer down under its surface when he starts struggling. It doesn't take long to walk far enough from the A82 road to get out of earshot of the passing traffic, and that's when the silence of the landscape made me realise I was very small and vulnerable in this barren land. I'm completely alone and out of touch with normal day-to-day life. I checked the phone, but there was no signal. So I was totally isolated from the rest of the world, except for the vastness of the open moor. When I came across the footprints of a fox, I wondered what on earth it could find to eat in this frozen wasteland. Then I found out a downed deer could keep it going most of the winter, and although I hardly noticed him, on close inspection of my surroundings, There were a few deer around. Did you spot a small group of them in this photograph? What was more obvious to me was the mist was now beginning to collect and swirl around the surrounding hills, and I had a feeling it was about to start snowing. Looking behind, I could see the weather was closing in, so I launched the drone once again, in case it would be the last time I could do it in this walk due to the weather closing in. I confess that I slipped and fell several times in the icy path, and wondered what I'd do if I broke a leg in such a fall. I mused at the thought of tying a note of help to the drone and sending it off to look for assistance. In the past I used to carry my personal location beacon for such an emergency, but forgot it this time around. The thought of a fox eating my stomach after hypothermia got the better of me. Will make sure I carry it next time around. Reaching the West Highland Way, I was happy to see a set of human footprints in a frozen path. I felt happier knowing someone had passed this way within the last 24 hours. Little flurries of snow soon hid all tracks as I turned off the track at Bar Bridge, heading along another ATV track towards the hills. Although the snow didn't turn into a whiteout, its constant falling was enough to keep the drone down, as you didn't want to lose it if the motors got wet. I still enjoyed my walk into the middle of nowhere, and enjoyed a coffee and snack while sitting beside the frozen river bar. I listened to the occasional grunt of a nearby stag, although I think it was bemoaning the fact it was now too cold for the rutting season. I then headed back the way I came, and as I approached the ruins of Bar Cottage, the snow stopped and the clouds began to clear. I stopped and finished my coffee at the ruins, then sent the drone skyward once again. Then, as I still had 3 miles to go before reaching the car, I happily set off, followed by the drone. I thoroughly enjoyed the walk, although my aging feet ached a little by the time I got home. However, I was very much warmer during this walk on the wild side than I would have been sitting in a small boat in a frozen loch. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching.